Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Dr. P, and welcome back to another video right here on the channel, and thank you so much for stopping back by. I want to quickly apologize for my hiatus. I had some things going down, but now I'm back and better than ever, and so excited to get back to providing you guys with the content you all know and love. With that said, make sure to drop a like on the video if you enjoy, and if you like what you see and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel and becoming a part of the family today. Also, make sure to check out all my social links, specifically my caffeine.tv live stream, in the description below. If you're not following me over there already, you're missing out. My next stream will be tomorrow, Saturday the 24th of August. So over the course of the past week, there have been several key changes to Fortnite. Number one, they started off with Retail Row. They brought that back for the second Rift Zone. Retail Row, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love Retail Row to death, and I was so excited to see it come back, but at the same time, the zombies were just not something that I think anybody really wanted to see. Anyway, after that, there was another Rift beacon that spawned near the soccer stadium just west of Tilted. The really interesting thing about this Rift area, if you want to even call it that, is it doesn't seem to have actually formed the way it was intended. Unlike Tilted and Retail, which have this huge dome and a crack in the sky over it, the area is a barren wasteland. It's almost like the generator or whatever was on it just absolutely exploded and malfunctioned. The theory is backed up even more when you look at what's in the area. There is a new item called a glitched consumable that is scattered all over that area, and basically it's just consumables that change from hop rocks to coconuts to peppers, mushrooms, and apples at random. Every 3 to 5 seconds or so they're changing, so you never know what you're going to actually end up having there over the course of every game, which I think is a pretty cool idea. Now recently, in the past day or so, there's been another Rift beacon that's been added to the desert area near the gas station in the southeastern corner of the map. These beacons always seem to signal change coming to a certain area. 2 of the 3 areas that have been created so far are Rift Zones with very special characteristics and a new place. Theories are going around that whatever is coming here with this new generator is going to bring back Moisty Mire, which has actually been leaked in the game's coding. There's a name called Moisty Palms, which obviously, as you can make sense of it, is combining the words Paradise Palms and Moisty Mire to make one unique new location. I've seen arguments for this either way. Lots of people like Paradise because of all the buildings and the action, and I gotta say, Paradise has grown on me as a landing spot, but at the same time, there are also a lot of people that want to see Moisty Mire come back, and not just Moisty, but the prison that was in Moisty that had such good loot with such a good drop. Moisty Mire was an underrated spot to land. Am I saying it's great? No, it's not great, but it was definitely solid and served its place. So now you've got the 2 parties arguing back and forth between each other. I want Moisty. No, I want Paradise. Well, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a compromise with Moisty Palms being the name of the new location, and we should expect to see this take place in the next day or 2, maybe 3 days. It shouldn't take too long, and I'm really excited about it. The map overall this season has been changing pretty quick, a lot more rapidly than I originally thought. We've got Tilted changed, Retail changed, the soccer stadium changed, and now it looks like the desert is going to get changed, among several other places we still know are coming later in the season, like Anarchy Acres, Risky Reels, Greasy Grove, in Tomato Town. We don't exactly know how for sure they're gonna come back, because it could be like this Moisty Paradise hybrid type thing, or it could be them bringing it back exactly as was the case with Retail Row, or it could be a new interpretation of a certain place we have, like Tilted Town is. Just a ton of possibilities. In the comments, let me know what place you think is going to be affected next, of course, after the desert. In which place would you like to come back next? Of course, I say it every time, and I'll keep saying it until it happens, but I want to see Greasy Grove, man. What a landing spot. I find it really intriguing that the 3rd Rift beacon seemed to have just malfunctioned and exploded that was not like the first two we saw at all, you know, just a lot of strange stuff happening. I wonder what caused that rift beacon to explode, because clearly it was not supposed to happen. Like I referenced earlier in the video, the consumables there are called glitched consumables. Clearly something that was supposed to happen did not happen there, and I'm just curious as to why and what possible implication that may have later in the storyline this season. As we all know, the number one most exciting part, well, at least for me, every season, is the live event. We've had one just about every season since season 4, and for the most part, they've been awesome. They've broken all sorts of records for people viewing a game on Twitch or either in-game at one time. The records they've broken have been crazy, and I dare say the live events are the thing that makes Fortnite, you know, become super popular again for about a week every single season. Now, don't get me wrong, the game is unbelievably popular, but there's that 1 week or two per season that people are really having their interest piqued, and people want to get on because they're curious to find out what's happening. The live events are awesome, and it's fair to assume that we're gonna get another one this season. Question is, what? Last season, they were pretty transparent and clear about what was going to happen right away, because the caddis was in the iceberg from the second week of the season, and then from there we kind of had the idea that there was going to be a creature that was going to wreak havoc on the map. Sure enough, he did. This time around, it's a little harder to decipher. It's got something to do with time travel and the 0 point, as well as old places, but we can't exactly put our finger directly on it. Speaking of the upcoming live event and the speculation thereof, I want to get back to my roots and talk a little bit about some of your theories, okay? So this comes to you from Shark, and he says, the visitor will create a rift in the middle of the map in the last week of the season, and when it activates, it will change the whole map in a live event. Appreciate that, Shark. Now, the reason this really resonated with me is because basically the visitor is a huge focal point of this season. Really, everything from season 4 is a focal point of this season. We started away the season by getting Dusty Depot, with the meteor just hovering right above it, stuck in place. I still think the meteor is eventually going to hit the depot this season, but we'll talk about that some other time. As you know, all these rift beacons are creating rifts in the sky at exactly the same locations they used to be back in season 4. As we also know, the rocket that belonged to the visitor was inside of the cinematic cutscene for Season X, and it was one of the very first things we actually got to see in that cutscene. Let's also not forget the fact that inside of the meteor, which is just strangely floating, is an empty escape pod, which we clearly know is the visitor's escape pod, based on the series of events that happened way back in Season 4. So really, this season seems to be trying to tie together some loose ends that we've been experiencing over the past few years. It's a really strange season, and it's one of the toughest I've ever experienced this early on in terms of trying to figure out what's going on. Most times there is at least some kind of a path to follow, but this time it's so tough because you have all this stuff from season 3 and the meteor and all the stuff that we're experiencing a second time, as well as new stuff. So all that stuff stacked on top of each other makes for a pretty complex season for the storyline. But hey, that's a good problem to have. It's just the way I like it. Also, I'm not sure how many of you guys know, but very recently there has been a huge nerf to the Brute. Finally, man. I don't know how many of you guys have played the game and like experienced the mechs, but they are awful. They really need to get vaulted, but at least they're doing this major nerf. And when I say major, that doesn't even begin to describe how bad of a nerf this actually is, and it makes the mechs a lot less useful. So let's quickly go over it. I'm not going to read everything completely, but just to give you a brief idea of what happened, decreased the maximum amount of rockets from 10 to 6, decreased the rate at which rockets are fired by 56%, decreased the radius of the Brute's rocket explosion by 42%, increased dash cooldown from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, decreased velocity gain from boosting while in air by 33%. Brute no longer grants materials to the driver and passenger. Plus, the spawn rates have been adjusted to be less frequent as you get further and further into the match. Bravo, Epic, they deserve a pat on the back for that. Now, I haven't played and I don't know how effective the Brute is, but I can't imagine the Brute is anywhere near as good when you literally have the explosion radius decreased by almost half, when you have the rate at which the rockets are fired decreased by more than half. Literally everything across the board for the Brute got a nerf. In the comment section down below, let me know if you're excited about the changes you see with the Brute. I'm going to have to get on and play a little later today to see myself exactly how it changes the game, because I do imagine it's going to have to change it at least a pretty solid amount based on the changes they've implemented in the past 24 hours. Again, guys, I apologize for being kind of MIA the past week, but like I said, I had some stuff going on. I'm back now and ready to get back into the grind. Make sure you subscribe for near daily Fortnite content, and also continue to leave your theories and ideas as well as suggestions in the comment section down below. And if you put something just unique enough, I may very well feature you and put you in my next video. Check out this 1v2 clutch for the dub, the victory royale. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next video, and until then, take it easy and peace out.